All right, welcome back in. Hang with Esther, presented by Richard Honda. Glad to welcome back to the show Eric Sorenson, who joined us all baseball season long last season. Now we're back on the diamond. Eric is back on the show. Eric, how you doing today?
Man, I tell you, there's nothing cooler than hanging with Hester, if I can use your tagline, man. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, man, so good to catch up with you. Hey, we were talking baseball walk-up songs before you came on. What would Eric's walk-out song be if you're going to the plate and you need to get hyped for that at-bat?
Well, the smartass in me would say Frank Zappa's Catholic Girls because it's really off-color. But I suppose I'd probably end up doing with something like Rob Zombie or something like that. Just something that really kicks ass. I'll do that instead. Or something like that.
Fair enough. Hey, wanted to have you on today and start back having you on the show. And, again, I appreciate your time, but what a perfect time to do it because LSU's traveling to Houston. We all know the Shriners tournament over there. It's going to be some great competition. You've got Texas, Baylor, Oklahoma for the Tigers. We're going to find out exactly who they are. So just kind of talk about the stage, though, because I know you've probably been in that tournament before, the stage that is that tournament at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, no, it's Jacob, it's a really cool venue. Obviously, the Astros play there, and they get actually, they get pretty good crowds for these college games. I mean, like I can recall last year with Texas Tech playing, got somewhere like 10,000 or something like. When A&M is there, it gets even more ridiculous. So they get good crowds for this atmosphere that they're playing. It's a big league field, big league feel to it as well. And I know that the kids really love coming out and playing in a place that a place that they aspire to play as professionals. So it's a great venue, good place to catch a game and get out of the cold a little bit because it's indoors. So it's good.
And you got some good teams there as well. You got Arkansas and LSU and Oklahoma. All those are ranked baseball teams. And even the teams that aren't ranked, they're good baseball teams, quality Power 5 programs, all those type of things. And so it's also really good competition. You can find out where your team is before you get to conference play.
Yeah, one of the things that it will do, in fact, I remember kind of hearkening back to last year when LSU played at Texas early on. LSU didn't do so well. I mean, they got drummed in the first two games and then a walk-off in the last game. So it does kind of tell you where your team is, but it doesn't tell you necessarily where they're going because LSU completely turned it around, ended up being a super regional team last year and a national seed. And Texas ended up getting, last place in the Big 12, didn't even make the NCAA tournament. So it's kind of weird. This will be a good test. And this is the kind of you see LSU opening up with the Eastern Kentuckys and whatnot, and you kind of go, all right, that's fine. I didn't I wish they'd play somebody better, but this is going to be the time where the rubber hits the road, and it's cool that LSU does go on the road for something like this because they got a lot of alumni in Houston, and they'll be able to come out and cheer for them, and like you said, see where they're at and see how this season, kind of give a little indicator of how this season might go. Hopefully it'll be better than their trip to Texas last year.
Eric, when you look at this these six teams that are about to play in this tournament this weekend, what matchup do you see as being the most competitive game? Like when you look at the two teams, like is it LSU, Texas? Is it Oklahoma, Arkansas?
Yeah.
What game really are you looking forward to watching the most?
Well, for me and the listeners in your area, obviously Texas LSU, the first game, because LSU is going to actually go up against Bryce Elder, who pitched the Friday game last year against them and pitched into the seventh inning and only gave up 4 hits the entire game. Or actually him and the reliever Cameron Fields, they only gave up a combined 4 hits. So it's going to be interesting to see how LSU does against a pitcher they faced last year and a pitcher that really got the best of them. And I guess you could argue LSU's offense is going to be better was better last year with some of the guys that have left. But you still have to – I can't wait to see how, like Zach Mathis, the JC transfer, how him and Kay Beloso has gotten off to a good start. I'm looking forward to see how they do against an elite arm like Bryce Elder. And the second one, as you mentioned, Arkansas and Oklahoma, it's purely Oklahoma's pitching against Arkansas's great batting order. So those two games are the ones that probably jump out to me at most, and that I'll be listening in on see what goes on with those two games.
Eric, when you look at some of the arms here, they're going to be in Houston. You've got some big-time ones, and you just mentioned one of them. What about LSU's Cole Henry, though? Because we know the SEC is littered with Friday night guys that are probably going to be first-round picks, or they're going to get a chance to play in the big leagues. Where would you kind of put Cole Henry right now as far as other arms in the SEC?
Oh, right near the top, Jake. I think Cole Henry it's one of those kind of potential type things. He'll have his kind of ups and downs. I remember seeing him last year against Florida, and he was just lights out as a freshman. And people are talking about Cole Henry as being a guy that goes maybe late first round, early second, maybe is what I've heard. And he's an elite arm. I mean, there's nobody in the SEC that's going to be able to overpower or that can match up with Cole's arm quite as well, except maybe Kumar Rocker at Vanderbilt, I'd venture to say. But he's an elite guy, and again, this will be a good test going up against Texas. Now, Texas, not exactly they're not wielding big sticks. They kind of struggled against Boise State, who hadn't played baseball in 40 years. Last week they played against Boise State.
They were fresh. That means they were fresh.
Yeah, I mean they're fresh. They're rested. So yeah, Henry's going to be great to watch tonight, and for the rest of the season, and we'll go high in the MLB draft this coming June.
Speaking of going high in the MLB draft, Maurice Hampton's a guy that's come to LSU. Played football in the fall. Me personally, didn't expect him to hit the ground running like he has on the baseball field. Just had a big game in the midweek. He's hitting over 300 now in the starting lineup. I got to imagine he's one of the top prospects there. What have you made of him so far? And then who are some of the other guys that, like Maurice, who turned down a lot of money to come to college, who are some of the other guys that will be there this weekend that LSU fans may not be as aware of that they can keep an eye on?
Oh, you mean for some of the other teams?
Yeah, well, yeah, and also your thoughts on Maurice.
Yeah, well, Maurice, obviously, great athlete. You're right. He's hitting 300 now so far. Great speed. This is a guy that can be a game changer on the base pass, and look forward to seeing what he can do this year. And there's going to be guys. It's kind of one of these things where there's going to be guys on each team that you see out at the Minute Maid Park that are going to have some top rate guys that are going to go high in the draft, and some guys that have have skipped a year and come back to school. Oklahoma having Cade Cavalli, pitcher I mentioned already, Cade Cavalli and Levi Prater, the two really good pitchers for Oklahoma. Luckily, LSU, it looks like, will miss those two and take they'll go against Dane Acker. Now, Dane Acker, that will be on Sunday. Acker is a JC transfer from San Jacinto. JC All-American, passed up some money to go to school at OU, probably just for 1 year. He's going to be a great power arm type guy, and it'll be a tough draw for LSU. But again, they'll avoid Cade Cavalli and Levi Prater, which are the two best pitchers on OU's team. So it's a boon for LSU. Great to see some of these LSU guys, or see what these guys will do this weekend, being tested by so many good arms too.
Hey, Eric, man, I really appreciate your time. It's good to get you back in the fold here. Looking forward to catching up.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for sharing the airwaves, guys. Appreciate it.